Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God.
Yes, I a new flower this on the ends, representing the flames. Yo, the one after the honorable priest Isaac. Some boy fi know this. Hear me now. Antigua are the place where priest Isaac dwell. Ancient Israel, ancient story fi tell. Yes, yes. Up a Lalibela where the monk them a dwell. With them mescal, them a broke evil spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. His foundations in the whole mountain. Priest Isaac on the whole mountain. Him black a reverence on the whole mountain. Him chant a psalm on the whole mountain. But never hesitate for yell the king. I take a Isaro Einin. So proud yes to be an offspring. Mystic vibration of the people them a sing. Angel, mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where him dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Trot on the banks of the gully. Isaac trod it through the hills and the valley. Trod it through the town, through the bloody city. Highly, 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 always with we. Highly, 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 I'll protect we. Highly, 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 I would never leave we.
From the west of the Miracle Bread to the east of the Miracle Bread, here's the hottest Java.
Blessed love, give thanks, glorify life giver and the keeper of life, Kadamawe, Haile Selassie first. We'll definitely, welcome you to the shock of the hour, the Mystic Vibration Radio Anu, the international flavor, the universal spice. Giving thanks for your presence with us, and of course we're touching the international community with love and happiness, and of course with great joy. And let me just say, even before we go too deep, that this evening we have definitely, made way to give that presentation that we promised that we would be giving as it relates to Brother Bill Cosby and the situation that has just come down upon him. Now it may be 3 or 4 days late, it may appear, but this is still fresh news. In fact, we did promise in a previous episode that we would be doing just a short little stuff for the YouTube on Brother Bill Cosby. And the reason why we didn't bring that out right away is because, everyone was touching the subject. And I must say that most individuals from the conscious realms, have the main idea of exactly what's going on. I think we all know exactly what's going on. We can see the play of exactly what is taking place. But I think we should still take the time to break it down a little more. And we're not just going to do a short clip. This is the shock of the hour. So we're going to spend the time in the shock of the hour tonight to speak about exactly what has happened with Brother Bill Cosby. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to present to you a clip. It's not that short, but it has a bit of length, between 15-16 minutes long. And what it is, it's actually the live clip from CNN when they brought Brother Bill Cosby out of the courtroom in his handcuffs. So what I've noticed, you hear a lot of people giving their opinion on what happened. Some people have not even been following the case. Listen to this. Like myself, I haven't really following the case straight up. From time to time you hear a bit of what is taking place, but I have not been behind a bit, So I'm gonna just give you the exact clip from CNN when the news broke. This was live at the time. You're gonna hear from the lawyer of the ladies that were charging Bill Cosby for rape and sexual assault, etc., etc. And then you're going to hear from the spokespersons of Brother Bill Cosby as well. Then you're going to hear the host of the CNN program. What's her name? Brooke Baldwin, I think that's her name, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, well, pardon me. And her uncle lady. And they will be discussing the case. So what you're going to need to do is to listen to all of these different aspects of this clip that I'm going to be putting to you now. And then afterwards, we will comment on it. So yeah, the mystic vibration. Give thanks for your presence.
Thanks.
Wow. What do you say? This is a man, as Yodi was mentioning, Bill Cosby in handcuffs, being led away to jail. Lori Rackett, here he is.
We're just gonna follow along.
A scene millions of Americans never, ever, ever would have imagined. Never would have imagined. As we were just discussing, this is Mr. Huxtable. This is Picture Pages. This is a man who, did so much philanthropically, and wow, his life has entirely changed. Let's listen in.
These are the
I'm just going to do a quick one here. Yeah, but you can say something quick too if you want to. But the whole victim impact will be in the hall. Fair enough?
This is the lawyer and her team.
All right.
And some of the ladies that were fighting against Brother Bill there. Her name is Gloria Alfred, that's the lawyer.
We're going to make a very brief statement here, and then we're going to give victim impact statements.
Now, let me be clear here. If you've seen the video, this video specifically that CNN brought out, or if you saw the interview right after the decision was made or the verdict came down and they let him out in handcuffs. So you see the sisters, about 4 black sisters, 3 black sisters around the lawyer and this white lady here on the corner. And you may be saying, oh, why are you pointing out who's black or white? Well, I think it's very important because I'll be very honest here. The white lady is much more aesthetic than even the blacks. To be honest, the black lady is almost as if they're acting. Now, I'm just telling you what I see, you know, because I know a lot of us, we're quick to jump and, you know, get real defensive now, especially in cases like this. And of course, I guess I didn't remember to begin my discourse in the way that everyone expects me to begin my discourse. When you talk about these subjects, you must say first that I do not condone any man sexually assaulting any woman. You're supposed to say that first, so at least the audience knows where you stand, and then you continue to say what you've got to say. But anyway, I'm just telling you what I observe, and if you've observed it yourself, you could see the difference, you know, in the reaction of the Caucasian ladies that are around the lawyer, even the lawyer herself, in relation to the other darker ladies, the black sisters. They're showing some joy too, but it is not the same. I'm telling you straight.
In the hall, in Xavier Hall at 410 Erie, after the district attorney's press conference. You ready? Yes. Okay. So this has been a long journey to justice for all of the accusers, particularly for Andrea Constant and for her family. And we respect the fact that they have undergone and endured this journey to justice. The court has imposed a 3 to 5 year term, 3 years after which he can seek parole. This is a very important day. Judgment Day has come. The court has said that its efforts and its decision were based on the guidelines and the law of Pennsylvania and the protection of the public. That there's an undue risk to the public if he was given probation. And given the gravity of the offense and other factors, this was his sentence. So we're glad the Judgment Day has finally come for Mr. Cosby. Mr. Cosby has shown no remorse. And there has been no justice for many of the accusers who were barred from a court by the arbitrary time limits imposed by the statute of limitations. But many of them were brave enough to speak for law enforcement, and some of them were chosen to testify as prior bad act witnesses. So we are very proud of those who cooperated with law enforcement and did what they could do to have a just result. Very quickly, we're going to make a longer statement at the hall. I don't know if you want to say anything about the sentence only.
Let's listen now.
And how you feel about it, and then we'll do the victim impact at the hall. This is Shalon Lasha. Shalon is one of my clients. She testified in the criminal case as a prior bad act witness. Go ahead, Shalon.
Well, as everyone knows, I wanted 30 years. But I'm very happy to know that Mr. Cosby will do time in prison. That he is touchable like he touched us unwillingly. This is
okay.
All right.
Good. Thank you.
We've got justice.
All right. Lee Slott-Lupin, who is also a prior bad act witness. Again, we'll give her a longer statement at the hall, which we have a copy of for you. But how you feel about the sentence right now? I'm more emotional than I thought I would be. And all I can say is that this is going to help change the statute of limitations in Nevada. We're going to get it abolished, and we're going to support what's happening here in Pennsylvania. And this is just going to show victims that they can make it through, and that there's justice at the end. And hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, we'll see you at the hall right after the DA's press conference. Thank you. Yes. Okay, everyone's invited. And we'll have
All right, you're going to hear a statement now from, let's get this straight. Hold on.
Is it important message?
Hold on. You said your piece already, lady. Let's get a statement here now. This is a statement coming from the spokespersons, the publicist, that's their correct term, for Bill Cosby.
The court of law of drugging.
Never expected you to see Mr. Cosby go to prison.
No one ever expects anything like this, but I want to say a few words, if that's okay.
Please do.
I believe and think it is important to point out that this has been the most racist and sexist trial in the history of the United States.
What?
Dr. Cosby has been one of the greatest civil rights leaders in the United States for over the last 50 years. He has also been one of the greatest educators of men and boys over the last 50 years. This was not pointed out to the jury or allowed in court because the racist and sexist mass media was attacking and denouncing Dr. Cosby whenever his lawyers even hinted there was racist and sexism present. All three of the psychologists who testified against Dr. Cosby were white women who make money off of accusing black men of being sexual predators.
Hold on. No, I hope you're listening to everything here, because I must say, in a lot of the presentations, this is why we decided to do this too, you know. Because everybody is expressing themselves and showing their emotions, and, you know, Bill Cosby was set up, and some people say, well, he set himself up, but, you know, the system that has been set around him, he was the sacrificial lamb, because look at Bill O'Reilly, look at President Trump. By the way, an individual who said that he groped females, he said that live, man. Everybody in the world heard that, but yet still he's the president of the United States. So Bill Cosby is this sacrificial lamb, you know, this one that, you know, just, you know, throw him in the fire. Listen to what the brother is saying. Good.
Cosby, whenever his lawyers even hinted there was racist and sexism present. All three of the psychologists who testified against Dr. Cosby were white women who make money off of accusing black men of being sexual predators.
I didn't know that. Did you know that? Is this a fact? I mean, it's on CNN.
Were allowed in court because the racist and sexist mass media was attacking and denouncing Dr. Cosby whenever his lawyers even hinted there was racist and sexism present. All three of the psychologists who testified against Dr. Cosby were white women who make money off of accusing black men of being sexual predators. It is no accident that the prosecutors still work so close with anti-black and anti-male activist groups who tried to extort $100 million from Dr. Cosby in 2014 and continues to produce racist and sexist publicity against him through the 35 clients.
Wait. Let's get that good. You hear what he's saying?
Were white women who make money off of accusing black men of being sexual predators.
Okay.
It is no accident that the prosecutors still work so close with anti-black and anti-male activist groups.
Anti-black and anti-male activist groups. The prosecutors worked very close, closely, with anti-male and anti-black groups. Why would they do that?
Who tried to extort $100 million from Dr. Cosby
$100 million
in 2014 and continues to produce racist and sexist publicity against him through the 35 clients. What is going on in Washington today with Judge Kavanaugh is part of that sex war that Judge O'Neill along with his wife are a part of.
Judge O'Neill, along with his wife, is part of a sex war. You sure, brother? In the good old USA? Nah. Uncle Sam? Oh, come on. The Statue of Liberty? Nah.
Regarding the psychologist Kristen Dudley, she is a practitioner of mindfulness. This is an Eastern-inspired practice that is controversial in the field of psychology. I have noticed that a number of accusers also produced it, and I believe that AC and Judge O'Neill conspired with this. As you learned today, and we will prove that the DA of Montgomery County used falsified evidence against Dr. Cosby.
Wow.
During both trials.
You see, a lot of us, we didn't get this part of it, you know. A lot of us, we are correct. We are upset, and we feel they set him up. Just another nigga that they're gonna lynch. I mean, we understand that psychology and the reality of it. But have we taken the time to actually look into the facts of this case? Listen to what the publicist is saying here.
Mr. Steele introduced what he claimed was an accurate recording of conversations between Gianna Constant and Mr. Cosby.
Okay. You gotta listen to this good, you know, my brothers and sisters. Don't get caught up in the fluff. Let's get this clear. Listen to what he's saying here. There was a recorded phone call between one of the accusers, I think it's the Miss Constant, and Bill Cosby. I think it was between her mother and Bill Cosby. As I said, the conversation was taped, supposedly. But the taped conversation was found wanting. Now just listen to what this brother is saying. This is, what's his name? Andrew Wyatt. And as I said, he's one of the spokesperson, or one of Brother Cosby's publicists. Brother Cosby's, he's my brother. What's wrong with you? He may not be your brother, but he's my brother. And I'm sure a few weeks ago, at least before you heard about all of this, he wasn't only your brother, he was some of your fathers. Some of your father. Meaning that Bill Cosby was once referred to as the American dad. We forget all of this, eh? We're getting to that. Let's just cover this first. Go ahead, brother. Let's hear what you're saying clearly.
Produced it, and I believe that AC and Judge O'Neill conspired with this. Yeah. As you learned today, and we will prove that the DA of Montgomery County used falsified evidence against Dr. Cosby.
Well,
during both trials, Mr. Steele introduced what he claimed was an accurate recording of conversations between Gianna Constant and Mr. Cosby.
Okay, listen.
After recently being investigated by my associate, Ebony Benson, and her team.
Ebony Benson and her team, that's his associate. After investigating this conversation, the taped conversation. Let's follow this good.
During both trials, Mr. Steele introduced what he claimed was an accurate recording of conversations between Gianna Constant and Mr. Cosby. After recently being investigated by my associate, Ebony Benson, and her team, they found out that the tapes had been tampered with.
Okay. You sure about that? That's a big thing. I mean, it's raining as he's speaking, and trust me, what he's saying is just being swept away by the water, but this is a serious claim that he's making here. So the lawyer from the opposite side has been presenting this tape of this recording of Mr. Cosby and Miss Constant. And according to what he's saying, this has been doctored. Let's hear again.
During both trials, Mr. Steele introduced what he claimed was an accurate recording of conversations between Gianna Constant and Mr. Cosby.
Right.
After recently being investigated by my associate, Ebony Benson, and her team, they found out that the tapes had been tampered with. About the tape that Gianna Constant played in the courtroom that she recorded Mr. Cosby on. Mr. Cosby retained a forensic expert to conduct analysis of the recording.
So they got a forensic expert. A lot of this has gone over our heads, you know. So they got a forensic expert to analyze the conversation.
The forensic expert has now confirmed
that he can't believe that Bill Cosby would do something like that. It ain't funny though. No, it's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. That ain't what he said.
That the tape was manipulated in two places.
The tape was manipulated. in 2 places. Oh, no, it wasn't. And you are a forensic, an investigator, I should say. Can you literally take an audio of a recording and dissect it and bisect it and go into it? I'm not. I leave that to the professionals. I'm not a professional forensic investigator or whatever the right term is. But here we have the professionals on the case. People that we send to college to get these degrees that we think are the world. To get these PhDs that we feel, you got a PhD? Yes, I do. Oh, well, he's good. He has a PhD. What does he have a PhD in? I'm not too sure. What do you have a PhD in? All we need to hear is PhD, and it's as if we're trained to just accept that and go with the flow. So, the man has his PhD. They're not going to bring no freshman on the case. So we have a professional investigator telling you that the recording, the tape, was doctored in 2 specific parts.
Tapes had been tampered with.
Tampered with.
About the tape that Gianna Constant played in the courtroom that she recorded Mr. Cosby on. Mr. Cosby retained a forensic expert to conduct analysis of the recording. The forensic expert has now confirmed that the tape was manipulated in 2 places.
So you hear it. It was manipulated. So the forensic investigator, I said forensic auditor before, please forgive me, oh my. The forensic investigator has confirmed that it was tampered with, and what's the next term he used? And manipulated in 2 places. Yeah.
By my associate, Ebony Benson, and her team, they found out that the tapes had been tampered with.
Okay.
About the tape that Gianna Constant played in the courtroom that she recorded Mr. Cosby on. Mr. Cosby retained a forensic expert to conduct analysis of the recording. The forensic expert has now confirmed that the tape was manipulated in 2 places. The expert, in her own words, concluded, without question, this is not an authentic recording. Mr. Cosby's defense team is preparing a motion to address Mr. Steele's use of falsified evidence. Mr. Cosby clearly has been denied his right to a fair trial. These injustices must be corrected immediately. Mr. Cosby doing great. Ebony Benson is going to read a statement from Mrs. Cosby.
Let's listen to this.
I got it. I'm here to read an official statement from Mrs. Camille O. Cosby concerning the prosecution's use of falsified evidence. The right to a fair trial is of utmost importance in the American justice system. Prosecutors, as administrators of justice, have a responsibility to protect the innocent and are prohibited from offering any evidence that is untrue. We have now learned and will prove that Bill Cosby was denied his right to a fair trial because the DA of Montgomery County, Kevin Steele, used falsified evidence against him. After being tipped off by a recent online publication that a tape recording Mr. Steele played during trial was doctored, Mr. Cosby retained a forensic expert to conduct an audio authenticity analysis of the recording. Gianna Constant, the mother of Andrea Constant, had surreptitiously and illegally made the recording of Mr. Cosby in 2005 without his knowledge or consent. That recording was provided to Bruce Castor while he was DA of Montgomery County. Mr. Castor determined that Gianna Constant's surreptitious recording constituted a potential felony under Pennsylvania's law, which required Ms. Constant to obtain Mr. Cosby's consent to the recording. Years later, in 2014, Kevin Steele beat Mr. Castor for DA by unethically attacking him for not prosecuting my husband. He thereafter used the illegal recording in both trials, claiming that it was an authentic recording of the 2005 conversation. Mr. Steele relied heavily on the recording in both trials, ultimately convincing the jury in the second trial to return a verdict of guilty. Earlier this month, on September 12, 2018, an online publication reported that a Montgomery County court official official who requested anonymity had revealed that the original recording made by Gianna Constant was doctored and contained information that would exonerate Mr. Cosby.
Hear that? Hear that?
The defense team immediately sent its copy of the recording to a forensic expert who, after extensive analysis, has unequivocally concluded, quote, "This is not a true representation of the original content or conversation. Without question, this is not an authentic recording," end quote. At no time before or during the trial did the DA disclose that the recording was inauthentic, much less that it had been falsified. After the media report surfaced on September 12th, Montgomery County detectives acknowledged and confirmed to the defense team that they could not authenticate the recording and did
Hear that? They could not authenticate the recording.
Not know who made the original recording.
Listen.
Mr. Cosby's defense team will be filing a motion seeking immediate relief for the prosecution's use of this falsified evidence. The DA's use of this falsified audio clip at trial is deeply prejudicial, yet it represents just one of many issues that resulted in the denial of Mr. Cosby's right to a fair trial. These egregious injustices must be corrected. Thank you.
Mr. Cosby's doing great, and Mr. Cosby knows that God is watching over him. He knows that these are lies. They persecuted Jesus, and look what happened. Not saying Mr. Cosby is Jesus, but we know what this country has done to black men for centuries. So Mr. Cosby's doing fine. He's holding up well. And everybody who wants to say anything negative, you're a joke as well. Thank you. Did you sexually assault women, Michael? Thank you.
Somebody named Michael asked him, did Jesus sexually assault women? And the brother rightly responded, did you sexually assault women, Michael? Let's hear what Brooke.
Okay, so that was Bill Cosby's publicists speaking out on what they're referencing, falsified evidence, this audio tape. They're filing this motion. It's complicated. Gene Casares, who's been in this courtroom and
let's hear Gene Casares.
has all this extraordinary color from the sentencing. Gene, if I can just ask you first to address what we just heard from the Cosby publicist team on this audio clip. Talk to me about that. Explain that.
What they're talking about is that it is the audio tape that Andrea Constand's mother made of Bill Cosby when he called her to try to talk about what had happened with Andrea. She had gotten a tape recorder and she recorded it. It was evidence in this trial. There are some beeps in that recording, and the defense, and it was actually a couple of days ago, they sent the tape to an audio specialist who looked at that tape forensically and believes that it was altered. Those are the facts that the defense says are true at this point. So when the judge announced 3 to 10 years in state prison, the defense jumped up and it immediately in that courtroom started talking about this audio tape. And everyone is like not understanding what he's talking about. And then he asked a motion for bail pending appeal on many issues, one being this issue. Obviously, that did not work. The judge researched it, and the severity of this crime, the prison sentence that was given, he has to be remanded into custody, as you saw. You know, as I sat in the courtroom, and the judge sort of led everyone through, including Bill Cosby, what he was going to do. And he did say that time in state prison, which is the most serious punishment in Pennsylvania, there's a county facility, but state prison, most serious, that is what is appropriate. This was a serious crime, the judge said. This is a serious sexual assault. He said that he really took into consideration the victim impact statements, notably that of Andrea Constant. The judge said, you took her young spirit and you crushed it. He talked about how it was planned, that he got the drugs, he had the drugs, that he administered them to her. Cosby had said in his deposition that he believed she consented because there was silence. The judge said to Cosby this afternoon, she couldn't respond to you. She was unconscious. She was drugged. And then you sexually assaulted her. He talked about that Bill Cosby had to have remedial training in prison. He had to have courses and remedial about sexual assault, that he had not taken one step on the outside to take any type of responsibility whatsoever, coursework, therapy, anything, because of this. He said that he had to take into consideration the protection of the public, that Bill Cosby is still a risk to the public. I saw Bill Cosby sit there in silence. I didn't hear anything in the courtroom. In the front row, you had Andrea Constand, her mother, her father, her sister. They were silent. The second row, you had the prior bad act witnesses. At one point, after the judge started talking, I heard some voices. It was Janice Dickinson. I don't know what she was saying, but it was audible. And one of the court deputies came over and sternly told her to stop it. And then he said something else, and one of the prior bad act witnesses said something, and he said, you take her out then. But she stayed in. And what we all witnessed together, we saw Bill Cosby take off his suit jacket. He took off his tie. He had his suspenders and his shirt on, so he obviously knew not only that he was going to be remanded into custody, but he was going to be handcuffed. At the end, we were all ushered out, but we stood there in the hallway, and outside of our presence is when the handcuffs were put on him, but we all watched as he came out, and he came before a live camera, the pool camera in the hallway, and he was walked out. And now I understand the PIO of the prosecutor's office tells me that he is immediately being transported to the county facility, which is where processing will take place. That can take up to days because they have to find the prison that is best for him to go. 3 to 10 years. He will be in there at least for...
Okay. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali would always say that no matter who you think you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you think you have accomplished, when they took away his championship belt because he refused to go to Vietnam, he let the whole world understand. You could say what you want, but in the eyes of the enemy, you are just another nigger. Just another nigger. As a matter of fact, the phrase, you're just another nigger, could sum up what just took place with Bill Cosby. I see a lot of people huffing and puffing about what happened to Bill Cosby. A few people contacted me saying, man, we want to hear your opinion of what happened to Bill Cosby. But I've always been giving my opinion. Always. I don't have to come and say anything. I have always been giving my opinion on what happened to Bill Cosby. For example, when the CIA individual came out and said that he murdered Bob Marley, all you have to do is to listen to that episode that we did on the murder, the assassination of Bob Marley, and you'll know exactly what we think about what happened to Bill Cosby. And this is why just a few evenings ago we did a program on Bob Marley, not about his assassination. We were doing the song Kinky Reggae. And I just uploaded that to YouTube like less than 24 hours ago. And the amount of disturbing comments that I've already received, the amount of sick comments that people have already sent to me publicly and privately because of that episode that we uploaded, Kinky Reggae. And that shows me, as I always knew, it is not everything that you could share with the wider public. You got to have circles within circles. You got to have the inner sanctuary and the outer sanctuary. The inner sanctum and the outer sanctum. You just got to have that. It's reality. It's not everybody that you could bring into university class. Yes, you have some messages that you give to the whole class, the whole school, let's put it that way. When you go to school, you have something they call morning devotion or morning assembly. And the principal or whoever speaks to the whole school, the whole institute, the whole college, or the whole university. Everybody gets that message. But then when the principal says, okay, it's 9 o'clock, go to your class. Your class is designed for a specific stage of the lesson. That's the reality of it. And sometimes you are doing a great disservice to the people in the higher grade by giving the information to them alongside the people that have not even been coming to class long enough to move up to the higher grade. And that is just a reality. I took my time to explain the song Kinky Reggae, you know, and the sort of comments that people have been giving me. It's something that touched me. It touches me to see that we are so dogmatic and so blind in certain ways. Some people even go down to the point where they're cursing me out and telling me I need to do this and need to do that and how dare I diss Bob and all of that. Anybody that listens to that and come out of listening to that and tell me that I was disrespecting Bob Marley, you are a liar. And this is what I'm talking about. We'll never be liberated. We will never be emancipated. We can't look for no redemption until we get ourselves psychologically in order. We are psychologically enslaved. Just today, a brother was asking me about the book, The 16 Crucified Saviors. And there's this song that they sing in the church. I want you to listen to me good, eh? There's this song that they sing in the church, and we sing it at the resurrection moment, coming off of the Good Friday and the Lent. Were you there when they crucified our Lord? Have you ever heard that hymn? Were you there when they crucified the Savior? Now, what does that mean? I always bring up the episode of the deporting of Marcus Garvey. We were there, but we were not there. The hymn says when they crucified the Lord, many people was there. It was like a stage show. But when he put his head up and said, Father, why did thou forsake me? By that time, nobody was there. Just a few ladies and a few little brothers were there. Nobody was really there. So the concept now of were you there, what it is really saying is what part did you play when your Savior, your Messiah, the individual that you have on a pedestal, when he was crucified, when he was arrested, when he was stoned to death, when he was deported, where were you? When he was assassinated, where were you? And the excuse that some of us like to give is that, well, I wasn't around during the time when they assassinated Bob. Boy, if I was around, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do that on my foot. Bob is here today. Bob is here today. Look, they just lock up Bill. And then you're going to pretend that Bill doesn't mean nothing to you. Don't be lying to me. Don't be lying to me. Because they have given us Bill Cosby as if he is the Barack Obama of the entertainment world. And for those who do not know what I'm talking about, all you have to do is understand what role these sitcoms played in the life of this generation and the generation that went before. From your Good Times, to your Bensons, to your All in the Family, the Jeffersons, the Cosby Show, the Sanford and Son, all of these sitcoms were designed to work on the psychology of a people. Look at the Good Times. We don't have to talk about good times, full of bad times. Always, you know the song for good times. How does it go again? I can't remember everything. Just looking out of the window, watching the asphalt blow. How does the song go, Prince? The song for good times. Keeping your head above water, making a wave when you can. Temporary laid off. That's the song now. Temporary laid off. Good times. Easy credit and rip off. Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. All of that is in the song, you know. Ain't we happy we got them? Good times. Temporary laid off. Scratching and surviving. And it goes deeper and deeper, but that's in the song. A lot of people sing the song and we don't know what the song is saying, you know. Temporary laid off. Good times. Easy credit and rip off. Good times. Scratching and surviving. Good times. Hanging in and jiving. Good times. What's so good about that? And good times really portrays the hard times that we were going through in the inner city. Not just in the United States, but basically in the diaspora during that time. So the Jeffersons now give you this impression now, as if you have stepped up. You know, if you look at the Jeffersons, George Jefferson's wife, Louise, she looks like a Florida Evans with a perm. Oh, come on. George Jefferson's wife, Louise Jefferson. Remember, the Jeffersons step up. They don't have their own house, but they've gone up in a different type of apartment now. So the Good Times crew, the Evans, they live in an apartment. Michael and JJ, Dynamite, they sleep on the couch for years. You know, holes in their socks, eating oatmeal every morning. Could hardly make it. James always losing his job. You know, Michael a little black power figure. And they grow up in the ghetto of Chicago, where every day is a different trials and different tribulations. But now the Jeffersons is slightly different. We're moving on up. With a deluxe apartment in the sky. So he's moving on up. He has his own business. Yeah, he owns a laundry. And they have I guess $1 million apartment now, looking over New York City. They are stepping up. That's why I said Louise looks like Florida Evans with a perm, because she can afford to keep the perm now and wear mink and all of the nice clothes and go out to the fancy dinners. These sitcoms, this is television, you know. Television is where you're taught to build your character. These are characters. That's why you can switch the channel. You know the whole story. The TV is the biggest teacher, not the person in the class. The TV is teacher number one, especially in those days. You understand? So after the Jeffersons, now you have a little Benson. Benson is the butler in the governor's mansion. That's a step up too, eh? Yeah, man. You're a house slave now. Straight up, Malcolm X teaches us about that. But the Cosby show now, because it's Bill I'm talking about, you know, you think I changed the subject? But the Cosby show now, when Bill Cosby came on the scene with the Cosby show, it was a totally different thing now. He wasn't living in no apartment. Oh no, that's why I said he's the Barack Obama of the entertainment world. Although that's a bit of entertainment too, the Barack Obama stuff. But Bill Cosby had a wife and a family. And the family now, all the children were going off to school and going off to college and going off to university. And Cliff Huxtable, that's Bill Cosby if you don't know. Cliff Huxtable, he was a doctor. And his wife, she is a lawyer. And I mean, they were raking in the dough. And now that was an example to us as black picky-headed people in that time to show us how high the bar is set for us. So you could accomplish this. Don't try to go too far. This is your limit. Oh, trust me, that's what they were telling you. You could become this if you just pull up your socks, you know, and you know, straighten yourself out. You could be a doctor someday. Just go to college and earn your degree and earn your diploma and earn this and that. And they don't tell you that the university and a lot of college stuff is high weight rip off. Meaning that the money that you gotta spend in certain cases, even if you get a scholarship, you almost got to spend the rest of your life paying back the student loan. There are a lot of people today with degrees a mile long cannot get proper employment for their degrees, and they're in debt to the college that gave them the degrees. And that is a reality today. People don't talk about that because it's a system set up to rob you. It's a system set up to drain the poor. So now we're all trying to be the Cosbys. Oh yeah. In fact, our mothers and our fathers being well taken in with the Cosbys, they put that on us. Hey, you need to be a doctor like Bill Cosby. They would tell you that. Bill Cosby ain't no doctor. The person that he portrayed on the Cosby Show. They didn't call it the Huxtable Show. They call it the Bill Cosby Show. And he portrayed a doctor. So when we saw the show, we were looking at Bill Cosby, not necessarily the Huxtable fellow. Bill Cosby, our example. You know, when he was just an actor. And I shouldn't say just to disrespect him, because one of the things about Bill Cosby now that stands out, as you heard his spokesperson saying there, he's one of the greatest leaders in the civil rights struggle. Now, a lot of us, we're not even aware of that. We're not even aware of that. Bill Cosby is not just a comedian. Bill Cosby is an individual that stood for the edification of the black man. There are many different projects, that Bill Cosby has piloted, directly dealing with the upliftment of the black man and the black woman and teaching them of their African heritage. There's several documentaries you could find on the internet with Bill Cosby that he produced and he funded and he sponsored, teaching us who we are, where we're from, talking about the kings and queens of Africa. You know, he himself, Bill Cosby, has gone through the American history to show you the how white supremacy has affected us and how the Ku Klux Klan murdered us. The same Bill Cosby. So I am sure from them times they were watching him saying, you see this nigger here? We got to do something about him. Look at Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes dress up like a woman for them and put lipstick on his face. Wesley Snipes. But the moment Wesley Snipes said that he's going to take John Henrik Clark and make a documentary film about him, all of a sudden you don't hear about no Wesley Snipes again. What has become of the Snipes? He better keep quiet before they drag him in court too. So when you see they took down Bill Cosby, you better know for sure they took down the biggest fish they could find, especially in the entertainment business as it relates to us. They are accustomed of doing that. That is their mission. So what that does now, that is to show you back to Muhammad Ali. No matter who you think you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you have accomplished, whether it's Tiger Woods, whether it's Serena Williams, whether it's Michael Jackson, you are just another nigger. I showed you what the song Kinky Reggae was all about. And do you know, for the first time in my life today, I did some research on the song Kinky Reggae because so many people were trying to bash me. One brother said, have you ever been to Jamaica? Don't you know kinky means you're nappy here? But I explained that. You see, people don't even listen. I said that in the episode I did. I explained to you the different meanings of the word kinky, man. I went as far as to show exactly, the understanding of the word kinky representing sex as well. And we broke down the song to the point where nobody, I don't think there's anybody on the planet that can dispute the message in the song. Even those that are trying to diss me, you can't explain what the song means. One person, I don't want to even try to call nobody no names, man, because I would say he's an idiot. One person clearly went as far as to say, nobody know what Bob is talking about, only Bob himself, and I need to learn how to decode. Imagine that. Priest Isaac, needs to learn how to decode. Well, if I need to learn how to decode, trust me, there's no decoder on the planet. I'm being very clear here. What are you talking about? I need to learn how to decode. You need to learn how to humble yourself. And this is why I stand up proud and firm. I don't care what nobody say. Because all of you who talking about Bob Marley and you love Bob, you don't love no Bob. Were you there when Bob was crucified? No, you weren't. When they were firing shots in Bob's house, where were you? Did you protect him? Were you standing by his side? No, you weren't. So, get out of it. Oh, come on, man. Priest, that's not a good example. I wasn't even born then. Well, this is what I'm talking about, but you're born now. You're born now. And what Bob Marley stood for is still taking place now. This is what I'm saying. A lot of us, we just talk and talk and talk. We don't take the time to go into the depths of what we're saying. I took the time to explain to you that Michael Jackson, after he went through his initiation, because he went through an initiation. Some of you say, oh, Michael Jackson, he joined the Illuminati, he joined this and joined that. Like if that's a big secret, he himself said so in his songs. Billie Jean, the goat Billy, is a perfect example of Michael Jackson spilling the beans so you could clearly understand what he's going through. And he was actually begging for help. And I took the chance to show to the public something about Bob Marley that you talk about your love so much. And I took the chance to show you, hey, come, listen to what Bob's saying. Listen to this, kinky reggae. Listen to verse 1 and listen to verse 2. I never said nothing. No, I never ever said that Bob was promoting homosexuality. Do you know when I Googled kinky reggae today and I went through, there was an article that I found. And do you know, in this article, it was written by some gay people. And they were bigging up kinky reggae. They were saying, this is what they say now, that Bob Marley years ago was showing tolerance to the gay community. I said, now look at that. I never saw that until today. Today, you can Google it for yourself. Bob Marley was showing tolerance to the gay community because of, the lyrics that he was putting in kinky reggae. Specifically the second verse. And no one, I don't care who you are, you're just stiff-necked and conceited. You cannot explain what the verse do. I tell you one person, you don't want to call him no fool. One person goes as far as to say, oh, nobody know what Bob talking about. You're so caught up before you take your time and say, hey, is Bob trying to tell us something? You hear me say that Bob is a faggot? You hear me say so? No, so don't be telling me nothing. I even go as far as to show you that Bob Marley is my elder. I'm not in the business of dissing elders, Ras. Come on. I even go as far as to carry you into my past. If it's one thing I do when I speak, I free up myself. Sometimes when I listen back to the things I say, I wonder if I should have told the world that. I tell people my business sometimes that I don't think. I telling people that I never met, my business, my rites of passage, what I've been through. I told you what one song meant to me, what the other song meant to me. Remember, I even explained to you that back in the days, when they were telling us that Bob Marley had white women, we were ready to take your head off your body for telling us lies until we found out that it was the truth. And when you find it is the truth, it's just the truth. So I'm just showing you, Bob himself is telling you something in the music. That's my point. He's telling you something. But because you're so dogmatic, you're so stiff-necked, and you're so conceited, the person that you want us to believe is your hero, crying out to you and you refuse to listen to him, and you're trying to disrespect the man that bring the message to you. Real hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy to the fullest. I don't care about them kind of people here. And this is why, sometimes when I see the comments that people leave, I don't respond. Because I understand that we are all not mentally there. Straight up. Some of us, we got to have some sort of screw loose in our brains. And to be honest too, I honestly believe that a lot of people that leave some weird comments, I don't even believe that they're people. I believe that they're random machines that leave random comments. Because remember, this is a spy agency we're playing around with, talking about the internet and Yahoo and Facebook and this tube and that tube. It's espionage, man. We're on the espionage playground, straight up. So you got to be careful. This is a war on different fronts. So I'm not going to get caught up in any back and forth with anybody that is not using their brains, or maybe they are malfunctioning in some way or the other, not seeing the truth, because I see myself in the same basket as these people here. Oh yeah, straight up. I see myself in the same basket as these people here. Do you know that my email, my Gmail, and this is to those who are my subscribers too, Listen, very important point. My Gmail, they suspended my Gmail for a couple hours just about 3 days ago. I couldn't get into my Gmail. They say that they're investigating my Gmail account. After they done lick down the Hotmail, you already know what they did to my YouTube channel. I don't even have to get into the radioandbusiness.com. What's the other stuff that the Facebook that they locked down at least 3 times. And now they suspend my Gmail account just for a couple hours. Why? According to them, I have some unusual traffic in my Gmail account and they were investigating it. Just 3 days ago, some unusual traffic in my Gmail account. So they have to investigate, and then they came back and said that I need to change my password. So I changed it. My password. Now I'm not saying that Gmail or Google Mail was trying to sabotage me. No, I'm just saying that according to them, they detected some sort of strange traffic going through my email. So it's as if somebody has infiltrated my email. And I'm going to be very careful too. And I'll be very clear to even the listeners, especially my subscribers. There's some of you that I've been trying to reach out to for such a long time. And for one reason or the other, I'm not even getting a response from you. And because of these little things I see, like what Google is telling me and Gmail being suspended and all of these different things, if I'm corresponding with someone and they're not even corresponding back to me, well, I think I'll just got to cut them off. It only makes sense because I'm putting my life on the line here. So I'm saying all of that to say that a lot of us that say we love Bob Marley, we lie. That's my point. You lie. You ain't love nobody. You don't love no Bill Cosby. You don't love no Malcolm X. You don't love no Marcus Garvey. You don't even love Jesus Christ. Them is just lie. You just love yourself. Because if we were loving people, we don't understand, them taking down Bill Cosby is them symbolically taking down all of us. The point that they're making, no matter who you are, you don't have to be in America, no, man. You could be a Morris Bishop in Jamaica, in Grenada. Once they want you, they're gonna come for you. You could be a Patrice Lumumba in the Congo. Once they want you, they're gonna come for you. Unless you play the role that they want you to play, they're gonna take you down. Whether it's in the movie business, the entertainment business, the music business, the sports business, whatever the business is, if they want you, they're going to take you down. And I'm not the one for you to bring up anything about, well, once you sexually assault anyone, I'm not gonna condone that. Who said they're condoning that? Somebody sexually assaulted somebody? Who told you that? Well, the judge, the verdict came out. Verdict from who? I'm not into them foolishness. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about that. What are you talking about? We're in slavery here, man. We're in slavery here. And some of us, we're so enslaved that we give up our own brother because of the evil enslaver's law. When the head of that system was caught on audio talking about touching women in their private area. That's Donald J. Trump, man. Everybody in the world knew that. He was talking about touching women. He was talking about touching women, and women have come out and accused him of doing this and that. Donald Trump. Nobody doctored anything. That was just, everybody knows that. And yet still, he's still the president of the United States of America. He don't have to spend 3 or 10 years nowhere. And then you have Bill O'Reilly. Then you have the other fella, the judge that they have right now picking out his brain. And then you have the other fella there that was on CBS News or whatever it was. I can't remember his name. The fella there, the fella with the fat man that does the weather. And then you have a next set of people that we see, Weinstein and all them kind of people there, that you see big people in the business arena, in the entertainment industry, in news and in politics, and none of them gone to jail for 3 to 10 years. But the American dad, the black man, who was supposedly our example, they just shackle him up, and none of us can do anything, no matter how innocent he is. How much million black people in America, none of us can even lift a finger to assist him. And all of that shows me is that they could come for any one of us. And you see, then we're going to say, well, Bill Cosby, and that's what we're going to use, Bill Cosby. He obviously did something with the women. Well, I would think so, according to what they said. He said one of the women did not answer back, so he considered that everything was okay. So it sounds like something happened. Yeah, and that is why it was the holy angel Michael that brought down the verdict. Yeah, and the judge, the lawyer for the prosecutor, she was the angel Gabriel. And everybody in the courtroom were the holy of the holies. And the news reporter and the cameraman and everybody is just perfect because the United States is heaven, How dare Bill Cosby do something like that around all these holy people? How dare he come and defile the sanctity of the United States of pearly white America, where no sin exists, when nobody does anything wrong. There's no stealing, there's no lying, there's no murder. And all these people that were surrounding him were thieves, liars, and murderers. And then now when they took him out in his handcuffs, they had a black police carrying him out. Muhammad Ali, no matter what you have, no matter how much money you make, no matter what you think you have accomplished, in the eyes of the oppressor, you are just another nigger. And there's nothing any of us can do about it. That's my point. So all of us that's talking, even myself, you know, man, because it seems to me like some people don't understand, as you know, the nerve of a brother, if he is talking about, I need to learn to decode. I mean, come on, who is he? Who is he? I need to learn to decode. Well, this is what I'm trying to show you. The enemy knows that I can decode. So the enemy has their eyes on me. I don't have to ask that. The enemy is watching anyone that they haven't paid to go out there and disrupt the people. They're watching them. Anybody that just spring up and sounds like they're talking too much truth to power, they're watching, they're observing, they're listening, they're investigating. And if you go too far, they begin to plot and look forward to execute. So I myself, I gotta deal with this as if it's chess I'm playing. And that is why sometimes I know for sure it's not everything you can just come on the radio and tell people. It's not everything you can go on the internet and be telling people. Sometimes you want to, you know, go and warn the people. And every time you do that, you're taking a risk. Because it's not just the people hearing you, but what is sad is that when you shout to the people, hey, the thief is coming. And everybody say, huh? What you say? And only the thief here, the thief said, okay, you thought you could have stopped me. I heard you telling the Negroes that I was coming. That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what happens. Up to this day, no disrespect, up to this day, I've never heard anyone sit down and dissect Michael Jackson's songs in the way that we have dissected his songs about 1.5 years ago. And I'm inviting you, if you have not watched the Michael Jackson video we did on YouTube, please go and watch it. It will cover so much of what we are expressing here. Up to now, 99.999% of the people that has listened to him and love him still don't understand what he was really saying. And it's important that you do. It gives you a better understanding of exactly what system is surrounding you. Bob Marley apparently doing the same. And because some of us are so blind that before we take the message like, wow, I'm glad the priest tell me that, we take it as an insult and start to erode our own self. Oh yeah, because let me be clear with you. And I'm telling you this out of love, eh? Some of you have some fairly harsh words for me. Although it doesn't really mean too much to me. I'm telling you, especially if you are a real human being and you are a brother or a sister, I'm telling you from my heart. If I was you, I would be very careful how I deal with me. If I was you, I would be very careful how I deal with me. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not a person for you to try to diss. Just take it from me, man. Don't take it as no threat, because I myself sometimes I try to stop it. But hey, there's little that I can do. Trust me. I'm just telling you, be careful how you speak about I and I. Straight up. So Brother Bill is in the prison now for 3 to 10 years. And this story might just go to sleep in the next few weeks. And of course, his attorneys and his spokespeople will be fighting as much as they can for an appeal or whatever else, and to get the evidence back into the courts to see if they can have a next hearing or whatever it is that they have to do. And then we are just going to go along our merry way. We don't have no problem with the system that we're in, even us as the conscious ones. Yeah, I feel it for Bill. Why? Because what he's going through is not him alone. That is just an example of what could happen to all of us, and it is also the reality of the state that we are in as a people. That's why I said that he is the Barack Obama of the entertainment world, because we were led to believe that Barack Obama becoming the president of the United States of America was an example to us all, to prove to us that we can be the best that we can be. Well, trust me, that didn't mean nothing to me, because I already had the example of the man that is Negus and Negas, the king of kings of Ethiopia. So some little dead, half-dead title as the president of the United States of America ain't nothing to me. When my father is Negus and Negas, the king of kings of Ethiopia. So no disrespect, but I did not need, me personally, I didn't need Barack Obama to inspire me, to show me what I could become when I'm already a priest after the order of Melchizedek. This is what I'm showing you. So we need now these falsified images to boost us. And they're not even really boosting us. They're just subtly carrying us deeper into the way of the system and the way of the enslaver. This is such a serious thing, my brothers and sisters. I'm not telling you to go and try to break Brother Bill out of jail, you know. But I'm just showing you need to penetrate on what happened. And if you consider yourself a freedom fighter, a revolutionary, or even just a conscious person trying to find the truth, that has a lot to do with you. And even if you don't care about consciousness, you are right, you have a good job, and you have a good apartment, and you can pay the car note, believe it or not, that has to do with you as well. Because some of you, you're afraid to come on the battlefield. But I'm telling you, you better come on the battlefield and fight, because you are already on the battlefield. And when you're on the battlefield, it's better just pick up arms and start to fire shots. Because if you're going to go to sleep on the battlefield, your days are done. And that is exactly what's going on here, my brothers and sisters. This is a real thing. This is reality. We're dealing with the people that's feeding us the GMOs, giving us them vaccines just to go into their educational institutes, which is already a vaccine itself. We're dealing with that. Remember when we did the Black Jesus, White Jesus episode, and you could hear how people react. The mentality, we are psychologically drowned. We are psychologically impaired. We have been dumbed down so bad that when we speak our minds, sometimes it sounds so distorted and retarded. Yeah, straight. Because we are now comfortable on the cotton field. We are comfortable in the cane patch. We're okay being house niggers. Everything is all right. We're good with that. Man, when you go back to Nigeria, if your visa not in order or wherever in Africa, you can't enter. And if you get in, they ask you how long you're staying. And if you overstay, they come and deport you back to America or the Caribbean. That don't mean nothing to us as a people. All of that is okay. That is fine. And this is why I primarily speak with young people in mind. Because these old fogies, it's obvious that many of them are not going to turn from their stiff-necked ways. Yeah. Hope I didn't come down too harsh for some. But to be very honest, I'm disturbed in the way that many of us look on reality, especially after I did that Bob Marley program and I see the response that I got. It's so sickening. It's disgusting. And that is why I know for sure it's not everything you can bring to the public, brother. Yeah, no. The ear of the public, the ear of everyone is not ready for everything. That's for sure. Sometimes you're putting yourself in problem, trying to show people certain things, especially knowing that the enemy is also watching, because trust me, when they come to crucify you, none of them people coming to help you. That's what the scriptures is all about. That's what the Bible is all about. When Moses killed the Egyptian for killing the Israelites, when he came back again, remember his own brothers said, we saw you kill the Egyptian. We saw you murdered him and buried him. And they were saying it, in a sense, remember they were fighting, and Moses was telling them, come on, man, brothers, don't fight. He was trying to help them, and they were saying, how dare you tell us that? What, are you gonna kill us like how you killed the Egyptian? And Moses had to flee. His own brothers were going to sell him out for standing up for them. And that's what's happening today over and over again. The same Christ, his own brothers denied him. They ran away. When the lightning and the thunder was clacking, when he gave up the ghost, it was his mother and his wife alone around. And maybe one brother, everybody else gone, and left him and the Roman soldiers there. Everybody gone, the show was over. Marcus Garvey, when you're coming back. And that syndrome still remains up to today. And although you may not see Bill Cosby as some caped superhero, like a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King, because we don't really put him in that bracket, but yet still he belongs in a bracket of inspiration that we are conveniently denying now, because none of us are courageous enough to stand up for him. Yeah, I'm telling you, well, I'm not telling you to go and break him out of jail. But some of you feel like you're the baddest thing on earth. Well, go and break him out of jail then, if you're so, yeah. Because listen, no, we have to watch this philosophy good, I don't encourage nobody to kill nobody. No, I don't. I never tell nobody, hey, you should go and kill them. I never tell nobody that. But some of us, we are active killers. Some of us are active killers. So if you're gonna kill, you kill 10 people every month. You do that. Every month you kill 10 people. And you mean you're gonna kill 10 people. Now for me alone, I would tell you stop the killing. But if you mean you got to kill 10 people, why not be a little more, why not be a little more selective in who you kill? You're killing your own brother. Why not kill your enemy since you are a killer? That's what I'm saying. So some of us, we have a lot of talk and we do a lot of things. But where our talk should be directed and our action, no, we are afraid. And that is what I see. So give thanks. I hope this is a lesson to all, especially those of us who say that we are conscious representatives and teachers, revolutionaries, all of us. If you are a poet, all of us. If you're writing a book, all of us. If you're singing, if you're a hip-hop artist, whoever you may be, take it from me. If you go too far and you're moving the crowd too much, remember you're under the radar. You're under surveillance. And these killers are ready to take action. Give thanks that Farah is my shepherd. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Give thanks. Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program. Whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair, the mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God.
Yes, I know flower is on the ends, representing the flames. Yo, the one after the Honorable Priest Isaac. Some boy if you know this. Hear me now. Antigua are the place where Priest Isaac dwell. Ancient Israel, ancient story fit tell. Yes, yes. Up a Lalibela where the monk them a dwell. With them mescal them a broke evil spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. His foundations in the whole of mountain. Priest Isaac on the whole of mountain. Him black a reverence on the whole of mountain. Him chant a psalm on the whole of mountain. But never hesitate for yell the king. I take a Isaro Ainin. So proud yes to be an offspring. Mystic vibration of the people them a sing. Angel, mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where him dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Trot on the banks of the gully. Isaac trod it through the hills and the valley. Trod it through the town, through the bloody city. Highly, 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 always with we. Highly, 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 I'll protect we. Highly, 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 I would never leave.